Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica and I make videos all about making and selling candles. And today's video is going to be talking all about how to figure out how many different scents you should offer when you are first launching your candle business. We are also going to deep dive a little bit into some psychology talk, some human behavior, because that all connects together. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So when I was researching about choices and how many different choices you should have within your business, I came across this article that was really interesting. I love human behavior and psychology and sociology and all that kind of stuff, so I found it really interesting. And what it's talking about basically is the paradox of choice. So what that essentially means is that when we as humans are faced with too many choices, it can do one of two things. It can cause analysis paralysis, which is essentially you are overloaded with all this information, all of these choices, and sometimes you end up not choosing anything because you don't know what's going to be the right choice for you. And a second thing that can happen is buyer's remorse, which is, of course, when you regret your choice and you wish that you would have gotten something else because you think in your head that that other choice would have been better for you. The first study to actually point out the adverse side effects of choice was back in the year 2000, and it was called the jam experiment. In this experiment, they had two different tasting sessions. The first session had 24 different flavors of jam for shoppers to try, and the second tasting session was a choice of 6 different jam flavors for shoppers to try. And what they found out was that having more flavors attracted more shoppers, so it attracted 60% of the shoppers, but only 3% of people actually ended up purchasing jam, whereas the second session that only had 6 different flavors of jam attracted about 40% of shoppers. However, it resulted in 30% of those shoppers actually purchasing jam. Reading about this was actually really interesting to me because I really thought about kind of the paradox of choice, analysis paralysis, having way too many choices that people end up not purchasing anything. And it reminded me of a time of when I was working at my very first job. It was at an ice cream place called Cold Stone Creamery, and Cold Stone is really known for having lots of different choices. And I remember there was one day I was working there and I was trying to take an order from an older gentleman, and after a few minutes he basically just told me, "There's too many choices, I can't choose," and he walked out the door. And that kind of got me thinking, am I offering too many scents? Should I be trying to tailor it back with my scents? Because flavors and scents go hand in hand. So if the more scents that people are offering for the taste test for the jam resulted in less sales, does that mean that my business is resulting in less sales because I have more scents? So it kind of got my mind turning. However, I continued to read on in the article, and I really love articles like this that give you both different opinions so that you can kind of form your own opinion based on the information and the studies that they provide. And later in the article, they were talking about something, a phenomenon called choice supportive bias. And what that means is that us as humans, we are naturally driven to think about the positives of the decisions and the choices that we make, and not really the negative. So if you bought something, you're thinking more about the positive things, and you kind of, will push aside a little bit of the negative things about it because you want to justify and tell yourself that you made a good choice. And we have to think about it this way. If less choices resulted in more sales for every single business, that wouldn't really make any sense for restaurants that have a large menu, or Starbucks that has a million different drinks that they can serve, or even other candle companies like Yankee Candle or Bath & Body Works. I believe Yankee Candle has around 200 different scents, and Bath & Body Works has anywhere between 300 and 500 different scents. So obviously when it comes to that market, a lot of people like the options of choice. And just something to throw in here with that guy that walked out of Cold Stone because he couldn't make a decision, that only happened one time in the year that I worked at Cold Stone, and everybody else loved the different choices that they could create for their ice cream. All right, so you might be thinking at this point, Erica, you've been talking a lot about psychology and the paradox of choice and all of these different things and these examples, but what is it? How many different scents should I start out with when I launch my candle business? And honestly, I think the answer lies somewhere between 4 to 8 different scents, but make sure that they are very different from one another. So for instance, don't have a scent that is very similar to another scent when you are first starting out. I like the idea of having not so many scents. You don't want to have 20, 30, 40 different scents when you're first starting out, but 4 to 8 scents really gives you a good range to have a good variety of different kinds of scents, because we all know there's so many different scents to choose from, but by having that variety, you will be able to find a scent for every customer that is looking to purchase from you. So for instance, don't have scents that are very similar to each other in the beginning. Don't have a strawberry mango, a strawberry peach, a strawberry lemonade, a strawberry shortcake, and then have a couple different other ones. Those ones are all gonna be way too similar. Make sure that you guys are trying to hit all of the different categories. So the categories that I can think of is fruity, sweet, beachy, and or fresh and clean. We got masculine, we got floral, we got earthy. You could also probably throw spicy in with earthy as well. Those are the top ones that come to mind. So what I recommend for you guys to do, write out all of those scents, all of those scent categories out, and try to pick one scent for each of those categories, and you could start there. That would start you off with maybe about 6 scents when you are first starting out, and that way you know that if somebody comes to your shop and they're like, I hate sweet and fruity scents, but I love floral scents, what do you have? Let's say you have a really nice lavender scent and they love that one. Or on the contrary, if somebody hates floral scents and let's say they also hate sweet and fruity scents, but they just want a nice, fresh, clean kind of scent, you could go with like a linen or a clean cotton type scent that you would be able to offer for them. So basically, you can offer a variety of different scents without having 20, 30, 40 different scents. All you have to do is hit the different categories, and that way you know that if anybody's asking about a certain scent, you will be able to provide something within that scent category. And that's typically what I ask people. Do you like fruity scents? Do you like floral scents? Do you like masculine scents? That's typically how I go about asking that question, especially if people come to me and they say, oh my gosh, what kinds of scents do you have? Because it's easier to break it down into those categories and just offer the scents that I think that they will like best. And then one last thing that I wanted to throw in here that kind of goes hand in hand with scents is different sizes that you guys will offer to your customers when you first get started. So when you first get started, I would recommend to have 2 different sizes. So let's say you have a 7-ounce candle and a 12-ounce candle. That's a really good place to start. You could also do a smaller candle, like a 4 or 5 ounce, and then like a larger 16. Whatever you guys want to do, there really is no right or wrong, but giving somebody the option of just 2 different sizes is going to help them out a lot if they are just looking to try it out, or even if you wanted to offer wax melts as well, that's also another option. But just getting started, I would recommend anywhere from 4 to 8 scents in 2 different size candle jars. Wow, this video was so much fun to talk about. I had hardly any mess ups because I just wanted to talk about it more because I love psychology, I love talking about candles, and it was so much fun to talk about with you guys. If you guys want to hear and have more videos of me where I'm talking about the psychology of purchasing, I mean, in business and marketing, psychology is everything. So it's a huge part of marketing and actually selling your candles. There's so much that goes into it, and it's really fun to research on. If you guys have any further questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, as well as give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at MemoryBoxCandleCo, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.